Well, we now know a lot more about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, and today I'm going to give you the 10 best things that we learned about during Illfonic's live stream. Now, first of all, big thanks to Illfonic for actually bringing us some gameplay so we could see not only the clown side, but really the victim side, which is something we haven't seen a lot of. So if you were on the fence about maybe buying this game or pre-ordering it or whatever, now hopefully you should have some more information to go off of and see if this is a game for you. If you like the type of content I do here, consider subscribing, hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me. And if you like to support me, you could always drop a super chat. Much appreciated. Let's go and get into it. Now, the first thing is the clowns can actually trigger the Klown Apocalypse early, and you do that by filling up the lackey generators. Now, you can either grab the predetermined cocoons that are in the game already, or as you start cocooning humans, you can add those to the lackey generator as well. Now, not only will that start producing lackeys, but if you get all 4 of the lackey generators filled up, then you will trigger the Klown Apocalypse early. Now, there's still going to be a timer, but again, once you trigger that early, the victims are only going to have, a couple of minutes at most to escape. Now, there is one escape, a 5th option that you're pretty much always going to have, which is the Terenzi brothers, right? So they are going to crash somewhere on the outer skirts of the map, and you have to try to find them. Now, of course, the clowns know where that's going to be because they're going to get a notification, Terenzi brothers are here. And so while you can use that escape, if the clowns trigger the Klown Apocalypse early, you won't be able to use that escape. So it's not something you can always bank on. Another big thing we found out is there are women clowns in the game. So they've kind of built them based around the clowns that we already know. But of course, they are clearly women. They don't look attractive at all, but we do have women clowns that are in the game, and they kind of look terrifying, to be quite honest with you. So super excited to see it. Another thing I wanted to point out is clowns can actually do damage to the bridge themselves. So the bridge is going to be one of those escapes that's going to make a ton of noise. Because first of all, you got to knock down the barrier that's in front of the gate, then you have to unlock it. As you're doing this, and if you get it open, you can walk across the bridge. Well, that bridge can only take so much. So the clowns can actually walk across it themselves and prematurely put that thing out of commission. Going to be one of those escapes that you're really going to want to make sure that you communicate, assuming that you want your other teammates to escape with you. You're going to want to communicate, hey, I'm opening up the bridge, so if you guys want to come, you better come now. Also, another thing with the bunker exit, right? It's only going to stay open for a certain amount of time. So if you're not making those call outs, you could be a troll or you could, be a helpful teammate. That's really going to be up to you. But those things don't stay open forever. Now, one thing I did notice is like specifically with the boat in Friday the 13th, right? You could get in the water and potentially stop the boat. Well, once they get through an exit here, that's it. There's no going after them. Now, one of the cool things with the humans is that you actually can find sharp objects, including knives, in the map. So if you happen to get cocooned, you don't necessarily need a buddy to save you. You can actually cut your way out of that cocoon. Another big part of the game is your ability to fight back. So they talked about the combat system. They wanted that to be in here. And of course, you can kill the clowns. They're going to have like a minute cooldown before they come back, but still, you can definitely kill them. Now, if you get them down on the ground and their nose starts blinking red, you actually need a sharp object or a gun in order to officially take them out. Another thing I noticed as they were playing as the victims is the noise meter starts instantly. And what I mean by that is if you're crouched, you're walking slow, you're crouched walking, then you're going to make the least amount of noise. But as soon as you stand up, you don't even have to be running. You're going to make additional noise. And then, of course, once you start running, it's going to be full send, making noise, and then the clowns can actually see you. One of the nice parts about this, though, is even with their trackers out, like the balloon tracker or white pings on the map, just like Friday the 13th, is if you are being quiet, they're not going to see those pings. So there really is a good hide and seek mechanic along with, trying to keep the action going. Now, if a lackey happens to jump on your back, the clowns are going to see that you are trying to fight them off, and it's going to ping your location. Another interesting dynamic is, let's say that you die as one of the victims. Well, if you have teammates, or if you just want to kind of see how the match plays out, you can play mini games while you're watching somebody else. And in those mini games, right, you can actually earn things where you can give them to some of the players that are left, or if they happen to regenerate you, which there's one regeneration per map, then you actually will retain those items. So it really depends, again, on how much of a team player you really want to be. The other thing I noticed with this is how big the map really is. There's so much going on and there's so much space to cover, but also the clowns can actually fast travel in the map. That's one thing that you definitely want to be aware of. Just because they're not around you when you first start trying to open an exit doesn't mean they won't be there very quickly. Also, when you do a clowntality, there's different ones that you can use. So it doesn't have to be the same one over and over. Just like Friday the 13th, you can pick the one from the wheel that you want. Now, one of the most exciting parts about this game is the progression and the customization. On your humans and your clowns, you can change everything. You can change their shoes, of course. That was a big thing in the community. Hey, can you change their shoes? Yes, you can. You can change their outfits. You can change their hair. On the victim side, you can change their hair, skin tone, outfits, all of that stuff can be changed, which is really freaking awesome. And that's one of the things that's lacking in Texas Chainsaw that we knew had to be in this game, and that's something they definitely have included. Now, another thing, the clowns are powerful on their own, but they're not nearly as powerful as when they have a couple of them, or worse, all three of them around you. They could cocoon you and put you on the ground or even take you out very quickly. Now remember, another thing with the victims is that you actually have mini games, and if you mess up on those mini games whenever you're filling the boat or doing any number of things, then it's going to trigger back to the clowns and they're going to know exactly where you're at. And the last thing I want to talk about on the victim side is there's actually a meetup point for all of the victims. So you can actually see what other people have in their inventory, and you're going to get an idea of, hey, this escape up at the top right anyways, this escape right here, we have enough to actually complete this one. And so you can kind of work with your teammates if you want to, and use all of the tools that you have and the ones that they have in order to make your escape. So just like with the clowns, you can team up on these guys or you can play it by yourself. It really depends on how you want to set it up. So it is a really interesting dynamic. I'm hoping that these games will play out as long as what they showed in stream. I have no reason to think they won't. I just kind of think there may be, they may have taken it a little bit slower, so it doesn't seem like you can just run right through it. But again, it seemed like the clowns could be to you in a split second, and it was a lot harder to escape than what you may think. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I don't want a competitive game again. I know Texas Chainsaw is competitive. That's the nature of it, unfortunately, because of perks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know that anybody really wants that. We just want a fun horror game, fun party game that you can play and have a good time with and then not go super quick. And I didn't see any of these matches that happened super quick, and I'm hoping that's how this one goes as well. As much as I love the game, there's nothing worse than, waiting 4 or 5 minutes to get into a match just to be killed off super quick. But if you don't do that as a killer in Texas Chainsaw, then that team can, speed run the map. So you almost have to play it competitively. Where this one seems a little bit more chill. You work with 1 or 2 people and, hopefully the games will last a good amount of time. And that's it, man. That is 10 things that we learned from Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. Again, big thanks to Illfonic for actually streaming this for, an hour or so, about 3 matches, and showing us some of the things that are coming. And I don't know about y'all, but I am even more excited now about this game and seeing what it had to offer. Love to hear your opinion. No matter if you agree or disagree, let me know what you think about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, down below. And again, if you like what I do, consider subscribing and hit your notifications. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.